What's up, everybody? Z Panther here again. I just wanted to talk about the speed pass suspect that's going on right now. And yeah, as you can see on your screen here, Gold Mason dropped this about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, roughly, just to get our input from the community. A lot of people that you might recognize gave their input. Colin, myself, Lou, Xtina, Gold Mason himself, Juke, so Jonald, Mielke, a lot of people in the community came out to talk about Speed Pass and what they think should be done about it. And there was a suspect test that went on. We will scroll down to that right here. And the question is, should Speed Pass be banned? Now, I actually made suspect recs here, as you can see. I got it the other day. That was about 2 days ago. And I am going to be voting ban. And my reason for doing so, I did talk about it a little bit in my post. We can just go over that so you can see. I didn't really go in depth. But my reason for ban, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's kind of a layered reason. I used to be pro do not ban the last time the suspect ladder came about because I'm a big fan of stuff like Ursaring. I feel like there wasn't any reason to get rid of something like that, which would be collateral if a speed pass ban was done. However, I think that it's kind of an issue that never dies, right? A lot of the people in the community constantly complain about it. It's something that I wouldn't be surprised if I log on to Discord every day and see someone complaining about Speed Pass. So there's somewhat of a tiredness with the subject, but also there's somewhat of a, I guess, somewhat of a stigma behind BP when it comes to tiering and the council for all gens, not just ADV. And there's councils that decide like what generally should be acceptable, and they really want to get rid of BP. It seems like that's like the end game, or they would rather if that was an option, and the ADV community obviously doesn't want to do that. So Speed Pass, in my eyes, is somewhat of a way to bridge the gap. I think it's the most problematic part of Baton Pass, although I don't think Baton Pass is really all that problematic in total. Speed Pass is the one variant of Baton Pass that has the most, well, let's just say it's the most difficult to play around because the speed makes it so that it's harder to check. When you're talking about something like Calm Mind Pass, for example, just to compare, Syllabi Calm Minds, you can do stuff like Hard Arrow or Baton Pass into your own Dug, right, and just remove the Syllabi or stop it from passing altogether. Or Skarmory, for example. Skarmory can just roar Syllabi out, right? That's not really the case when it comes to Speed Pass, right? Because the things that would necessarily check a lot of the Speed Pass users, in Ninja's case, right, it just BPs to Magneton on Skarmory. It already outspeeds something like Arrow, so you're not really going to force it to not pass by attacking. Zapdos outspeeds Arrow after a boost and OHKOs it. Skarm doesn't necessarily want to roar in the face of a Zapdos, obviously. And then there's stuff like Smeargle, which runs Taunt and Spore, which can make the pass really easy to facilitate. And in my opinion, I think there's not really any other style that you get a few turns wrong against and you can just lose on the spot if you do. I mean, that's really kind of an exclusive thing to Speed Pass. I mean, somewhat to Special Offense, but Special Offense still has the inconsistencies of Doug getting frozen or crit, um, and that's just completely out of your control, right? Speed passes, yeah, you kind of got to outplay your opponent to make it like really effective, but in the hands of a good opponent, that's very problematic, I would say. And we haven't really quite seen something that totally broke Speed Pass, but in my opinion, do we really want to even get to that point? Like, do we want to just keep it to keep the status quo and then the meta get potentially broken later on? I don't think so. Um, so for those two reasons, those are the main reasons. I just think that it distinguishes itself from the other baton pass strategies and makes it a lot more problematic. I don't necessarily think it's broken altogether. Like, there's ways to play around speed pass, but unlike every other style, like I was saying, there's not very many other styles that can just auto win like speed pass can in some situations. And there's kind of a third reason, although it's a little, I guess you could say it's contentious, but uh, it's been floated out there that if we vote do not ban this time around, that the next time we even get a suspect would be to just get rid of BP altogether. And I think that at its core is just not ADV. Like, baton pass is a really, really crucial part of the metagame. Not just for dry passing, like I was saying earlier with CM Pass, it's pretty fairly easy to check, and that goes with SD Pass as well because Celebi's the passer, making it very how do I say, it's not very difficult to handle. It's manageable. That's the word I was looking for. And I think due to that reason that oh, let me skip an ad. Sorry about that, guys. Well, I can't skip that in my little window. That is stupid, so you're just gonna have to see me skip it. Sorry. Yeah, I would rather prevent that from happening. Now, there's a lot of people who are skeptical that that would actually happen, but like I was saying earlier, with the meta getting potentially broken with Speed Pass, why even risk it, right? I mean, does Speed Pass add so much that it's worth preserving? I've heard some arguments, the Doug punish is the way to punish Arrow. I'm not sure I really buy that. I don't think Mix-Off needs Speed Pass like a lot of people are saying. I really don't. I use Mix-Off the majority of the time. Like, it's probably my favorite style to use, and I hardly ever incorporate Speed Pass. Now, I'm not necessarily using the same kind of mix offenses as these players are that really want Speed Pass, but I never really have an issue not incorporating Speed Pass into the various mix offenses I use. So I'm not really sold on that argument. Also, there's plenty of other ways to punish those things. There's stuff like Dragon Dance Elements, Gyarados, Agility Metagross, Agility Zapdos without Baton Pass, right? Um, Plenty of things that can do the same thing. Even Subpass. Subpass is a way to abuse that. Like, say Vaporeon. Vaporeon would lose access to Salic Berry Pass, which is a very strong strategy. But I think people are underselling how good just straight up leftovers Subpass Vaporeon is. Pair that with a fighter or something else, and it's really strong. Vaporeon's just good, right? So I really don't think you're losing much. The main things we're losing are keeping Pokemon that are barely viable as is and only really work with Speed Pass viable, and that's stuff like Ursaring, I guess, Belly Drum, Hariyama, Marowak to an extent, although it does have somewhat of a niche other places. Hariyama, of course, does have niches other places outside of its Belly Drum sets, but there's not really a lot, in my opinion, that we lose. Not too much collateral. And I don't know. I haven't been convinced by any of the arguments I've seen to support do not ban. And at this point, I think this is like my third year playing ADV. Really, the only thing I ever find problematic is like Ninjask or a Jill Pass Zapdos. Smeargle itself is really annoying to deal with too, and honestly, I credit Null's team for really pushing me toward the ban side of the fence, even though he himself is not in support of a ban. And it's just having to deal with that, like that team that he made generates a ton of free turns. It's really annoying to deal with if you haven't played it versus it before. And I think something like that could be maybe even optimized further, and that's not really something I want to see happen, right? Because it's already pretty annoying to deal with. But yeah, I think with that, I will just encourage you all, if you have the time, to try and get Rex. There's only 2 days left, but you will need to hit a ELO of 1700 and a GXE of 82. I found it challenging, but not too bad. I think it's very doable. I ladder occasionally, but I don't really take ladder all that serious most of the time. So I think if I can do it, some of you can do it for sure, I thought it was very doable, very achievable. I think I just used one team pretty much the whole time. And yeah, I encourage you guys to try and get Rex and to vote, make your opinion heard. I'm going to be voting ban. I definitely understand the arguments for do not ban, but I just don't find them convincing enough. This is really the only topic in ADV that really is very controversial anymore, is what do we do with Speed Pass? And yeah, at this point, I'm just ready to get rid of it. I don't think we're gonna lose that much. We'll see. Maybe the grass will, or hindsight will be hindsight. I will want it back, but we won't know unless we try. Last time, I think it was pretty close. I think this time it'll also be really close, although I think there's a lot more in favor of ban this time around. So it could get interesting, but we will see in 2 days. With that, guys, I don't really have any replays to show. I just wanted to talk about this a little bit, get your guys' thoughts. Let me know what you would do. Would you vote ban or would you vote do not ban? I'm interested to know. But with that, guys, I will catch y'all later. Peace.